Welcome to the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, discussing all things audiobooks with the authors that write the stories and the narrators that perform them. Brought to you by Viviana, Enchantress of Books.
This episode of Audiobook Lovin is sponsored by Enchantress Creations, celebrating the voices behind the stories. We create custom book-inspired swag, bookmarks, teas, candles, stickers, and bath salts. Enchantress Creations, where stories linger beyond the page.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, where we celebrate the storytellers behind the stories. From authors to narrators, we're diving into all things romance and the voices that bring them to life. I am your host, Viviana, Enchantress of Books, and today I am chatting with narrator Sofia Lette. Thank you for being here. It's been so much fun.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I know. I'm like, who do I need to invite? Oh, I haven't spoken to Sofia.
Well, here I am.
And here you are. So thank you. And especially since the time difference is a bit. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. So it's morning for me, evening for you. That's the best time to have these meetings.
Yeah.
Down here in Australia in our summer, as you guys are all cozying up for Christmas.
Yes. In Florida, it is currently 45 something degrees. So many Floridians are going, we're freezing your asses off.
What is that in Celsius?
I have no idea. But people in the north of us are always laughing at us because when it gets to be like 60, people are wearing their sweaters and like covering up, and they're going, this is like beach weather. And so I'm like, I've been enough to the north that I don't worry about that. But at the same time, there's times we're going, man, it's cold.
Yeah.
And then you guys are in the middle of summer. So
yeah.
How the world works, all the time changes and the weather's being different. It's just fascinating to me. But we're going to start by having you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been narrating and how you got started.
Okay. Well, I got started. The first thing that I did was I attended a workshop that was put on through our acting union here in Australia. And the workshop was run by the one and only Andy Arndt. And so that was back in like 2018. And I had an 18-month-old. I was trying to figure out how I was going to continue performing. And basically she went through everything that you needed to set up a space, how you can, contact people and get into the industry. And just the bells went off. And I was like, I could do this. This feels like it would fit with who I am as an actor, the type of performer I am, and also with the life that I wanted to live, that I had sort of envisioned for myself. I wanted to be able to be present for my kids, which is really hard in Australia. If you're in shows, you have to tour around. It's not like we don't have a sort of Broadway and all in one spot. And so it took me a while to really set myself up with a home studio. And I did my first full-length book was Mr. Masters through Lyric Audio, which a lot of people kind of know. And I had a very rudimentary setup until I moved away. So really the last few years have been when I was able to kind of set up a more permanent studio structure and then just let the ball roll. So so a good few years, but trickling in before then.
Yeah, they don't ever have a handbook. So you want to be a narrator, here's what you have to do, right?
Yeah. So I think like Mr. Masters released in 21 maybe.
I think so.
So it was that, like, it was just she planted the seed, and it took a while for me to be able to like let it go, like let it bloom. But once it did, I haven't looked back really.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when someone tells you it's a possibility and letting you know that, wait, this is a gig, like for real, we can get paid for this. And here I was like trying to do blue collar stuff or degrees. I'm going, I could be paid. I could get paid and have a career with books. If I would have known that, high school Vivi would have been a lot happier.
Yeah. Well, we don't know unless somebody, we meet people that sort of expose us to those possibilities.
Yeah. I think now the conversation is happening way more in different circles, including high schools. And when it comes down to the book industry opportunities, from the sound engineering to editing and photos and all that fun stuff. So it's always fascinating to see how long we've come in the time that we've all kind of started in different years and stuff. I've been doing this for 15 plus. So for you, it's been great too. What does your creative process look like when you're about to start a book to narrate?
Okay. I ideally get to read it myself. Occasionally, if I'm pressed for time, I might outsource that prep. But I will always at least then read, obviously, all of the notes that people have given me. But I like to read it myself wherever I can. I don't go too hard. I make sure I make any character notes, anything that really pops out that gives me a bit more of an insight into the characters' nature, voice qualities, accents, obviously. And I think then understanding the sort of style of the piece, the tone of the book, and I might kind of highlight some little things along the way that to make it easier for me when I'm actually reading it. And then I try and do that as close to recording as possible, because then I'm just still in that world. So that's my my prep. But then I kind of just let it happen. So that's what I mean by, like, when I sort of felt like this was something that it felt like it responded to the sort of performer I am, is that I get, I read the script, I get that sort of full sense of what the book is and where it needs to go. But then I try to just be in the moment. I'm more of an organic actor, for want of a better phrase. And I like acting on the fly. And I like kind of letting the emotions bubble up and come out as I'm feeling it. And, if I don't land something straight away, I will go back and go, oh, look, I could have done that better. And I'll go back and I'll sort of make sure I land that moment. Yeah, so I do the prep, I do the work, but then I find freedom when I'm actually then behind the mic. Which is, if I was preparing for a role in a play or a musical, that would be the same kind of thing. You do all the work so that then, I teach singing as well. So as a singer as well, you do all the work, you learn the song, and then you get up and you try and forget about it and just be present and trust that you've got all of that knowledge behind you to come through into your performance.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Sometimes we overthink it and then we're going, oh, I underdid that or I overdid that. I'm like, no,
Absolutely,
the take was perfect.
Yeah.
Stop messing with it.
Yeah. You need to, there's a lot of, like, when you're self-directing, essentially, you do need to learn to trust and to let go. It's definitely something that, you get better at the more you do.
That's good. Now, what about any kind of like rituals? Like, is there like a tea that you have to have before when you're about to sit in the booth, or do you have to do anything kind of like warming up, especially as a singer?
Yeah. So absolutely, warm-ups and warm downs.
Oh.
We are vocal athletes. And I think that's something that a lot of people underestimate when they come into the business, or when people go, oh, yeah, I'd love to be an audiobook narrator. I mean, most people don't talk constantly for 6 hours a day. The only other people that do are teachers, and they also end up with vocal health problems. And so I have, this is called a thermos. In Australia. I don't know what you call it there.
Thermos, yeah, depends. Yeah, sometimes it's called thermos. Cool. Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah.
And then this is like a little.
So cute,
it was my nan. It was one of my Italian grandmother, actually. I inherited this from her. So it's little because you want it to stay warm. And so I do licorice and peppermint, and so that keeps me lubricated. But I also I've now put them in a cute little bowl. This is my bowl of crystals.
Nice.
And because I like to kind of hold one while it's like a bit of a fidget. But I sort of I've got different ones to choose from that sort of connect to different characters, different moments. And I find it kind of nice to have that while I'm narrating. So they're my little kind of personal quirks, I suppose, that I have in here. I've got a little It's a bit hard to see, but I've got a little, this is a new edition that I was very excited about. Well, it's a bit hard to see because I've got a light up there, but that's like a chakra crystal
nice.
hanger. It's so pretty. And it's that was an early Christmas gift for myself.
Good.
But so I've got a couple of those sorts of things. But yeah, the warm up really. And then I'm kind of good to go. Try and take breaks, get out and get some sunlight.
Yeah. So I know what the warm-ups usually are, those like that la 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 kind of thing. Is it the same thing for the warm down? I haven't really had anybody really say anything about a warm down after they're done.
Yeah, and the warm down is actually almost more important than the warm up. So if you imagine the way I explain it to my students and anybody else who this might be helpful for, if you were to play a football match, if you were to run a marathon, you wouldn't just go and sit on your couch. You would have issues with your muscles, right? You would break down. So the same with our voice. It's where we're using a part of our body, we're using a muscles, a whole bunch of things. So if you don't warm that back down and sort of get it back down to a place of homeostasis as much as you can, then you're going to have that same issue. So if you keep waking up the next day already feeling vocal fatigue, chances are it's because you weren't warming down. So if you think about like warming up, warming down. So in the same way that, you start small, you build your range, you start doing articulation exercises, you start opening up the voice so that then you're ready to do the performance. In the same way, you would basically reverse that. Okay. So you sort of finish off with those sort of calmer, like even just some humming. The best exercise for warm up and warm down are the lip trills. You've probably heard people do that.
Yeah.
There's like a straw exercise. So you do all these, they're called semi-occluded exercises. So basically kind of smaller output. So you can sing through a straw into a glass of water. That helps to kind of release any tension around the cords and helps get good cord closure. It's also really helpful if you are feeling a bit vocally fatigued, if you've been a bit sick and you're finding that your cords aren't closing well. Sometimes I've had that and I keep doing it in breaks because my cords are not happy, because we all get sick, we all get tired, and we have to try and maintain a sound consistently over an extended period of time. Yeah. So, anyway,
that's great because that's great information because a lot of times, a lot of the narrators, especially after the pandemic that have joined, have no acting background or any kind of singing background or anything. So many were told that they have that sexy voice, right? And all they're doing is reading a book. And then they're wondering why their voices are scratchy after they've been yelling at the mic because the script said yell. And I'm going, ouch, my ears. Not exactly. And so it's always kind of cool to have some of this dialogue and have them, hopefully, who's ever listening. And that's why your voice is scratchy, guys. Come on, think about it. Listen to Sofia.
You have to. If you're going to be putting on voices that aren't your own, it's going to cause fatigue. Yeah. Or if you are speaking consistently from a place of constriction, you're going to get fatigued. So when people put on a gravelly, sexy voice, because that's what they think romance is, you're drying your cords, you're speaking, there's constriction there. You're going to get more fatigued than if you were not. So for me, I ended up saying I wanted to just pull back a little bit on the reverse harem because I went through a phase where I was doing sometimes 3 in a month, and having to do that many man voices was really fatiguing. And I kind of burnt out, there's just only so many you can have at one time consistently. I was like, oh, there's only one guy on this. It was like a breath of fresh air. I know. But it's like putting, that's not my natural voice, obviously. Yeah. And so having to do those many different versions of a low, sexy, gravelly voice is really challenging.
Mm-hmm. And the
So
authors love to
there's
put all the characters all in one place at the same time, talking to each other, whether it's a dinner
well in
table or
reverse
in the bedroom.
harem. Yeah. That's just kind of par for the course. But yeah, it's if I even for those of us who are have a lot of vocal training. I've been singing since before I probably in the womb. You know, it's like I even for myself, there's a limit. You know, I mean, I come from a world where people were doing 8 shows a week, music theater. Like I know about stamina, performance stamina. And even those people that are in professional shows doing that stuff have a whole bunch of tools in their belt to help them get through, and then still will have some issues because life, we get sick, you know, you have kids, you can't sleep in the morning and rest your voice, you know, whatever
Or
it
you
is.
yelled at them, so it's a little hoarse.
I just sing at them now.
Yeah, oh yeah, right. That might be better. I'm like, I need to warm up. Let me tell you a couple of things. Come here.
Well, there's also that Italian kind of projection, you know, the natural
Yes.
Italian projection, which
Mhm.
I do tend to lean into as well.
Yeah, definitely one of those from an Italian background as well. I have Sicilian and Italian, and then also the Latin. So, and my dad
Yeah.
being Cuban, I relate when it comes down to that
Yeah.
extra.
You're very expressive.
Animated, yes, animated, and like, hey, I'm like, stop yelling. I remember telling my dad, stop yelling at me when he's doing the teaching me math. And he's like, I'm not yelling, I'm just talking. I'm going, oh, that's right, you're Cuban. Thank you for the
Yeah.
reminder. Yeah,
You're passionate.
you're passionate. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something. I mean, I did a live today for 2 hours. And about at that hour, when I was at that hour 2 mark, I started feeling it. I'm going, I should have listened to myself and gotten the tea and gotten my tea, but I didn't. I'm like, I'll be fine. And I'm going, oh.
Can I tell you, can I give you like a quick exercise that
Absolutely.
like is okay. So when we talk about constriction in the throat, the most constricted you can be. So I'm doing this with my hands because it's like you imagine that the muscles surrounding your vocal cords, you know, ideally we want them to be out of the way. So when you breathe in, you kind of think this lovely open space, right? Now, if we're really constricted, it's like when we say Harry Potter, right? So you go Harry Potter, and you've got that kind of whisper constriction, and you can feel it sort of doesn't feel nice. It hurts a bit. Now, a lot of us, as Australians, we're pretty lazy speakers. So most of us kind of speak in like a vocal fry, or you'll hear like teenagers are kind of like that, right? So it's what we call like off voice. So that's that kind of a little bit constricted, and that's the I'll have a skinny latte, please. Right? I'll have a skinny latte, please. It's just a bit non-committal. Very Australian. But I think that's actually where a lot of people naturally speak. So we naturally are just a little bit kind of unconscious of our voice, right? So a lot of us sit in that space. And also as we're tiring, we tend to go to that space. The muscles kind of come in and think that they're helping us to get the cords to close, but they're actually getting in the way. So what we want when we breathe in, so breathing in like through your mouth and you feel that nice width in the throat, I have the best thing to tell you. And so you have that kind of, the cords then, the muscles are out of the way, the cords are able to come together nice and cleanly, and that's the ideal place that we want to be speaking, especially if we're speaking for an extended period of time. So if you feel yourself starting to get tired and you feel that like bit of a scratch come in, that's when you need to work a little bit harder and maybe be a bit more conscious of that feeling of openness and trying to get those constricting muscles out of the way to let the cords come together cleanly.
Okay. Yeah, just even breathing through my mouth, I kind of feel it, the little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of, it's really helpful to get your hands up and do it in front of a mirror, because then your brain sees it and you can mimic what's happening on the inside. And that's one of the difficult things with the voice is we can't see what's going on. So doing things externally with your hands helps your brain kind of relate to what's going on in here. I mean, there's
Okay.
obviously a lot of other things going on, but I, you know, again, if we're a little bit sick, if we're feeling tired, those muscles kind of tend to come in and we tend to get lazier with our voice because we think that we're kind of protecting it, when actually we need to pay more attention and be more conscious of how we're using it.
Okay.
I'm a little bit passionate about the voice.
I'm always looking to learn new things as I'm a learner. So this is great. But I was thinking about that because it happened at 11 o'clock a.m. my time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was for 2 hours. And I'm going, and I have to still talk to Sofia. And I'm going, and I need to sound nice. I'm like, what do I need to do? And I'm going,
I have the best thing to tell you.
I have the best thing to tell you. See, it sounds,
So it's just nice and kind of open and committed, right? So when we're committed with our intentions as well, our voice tends to be clearer.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. I so appreciate it. And I'm sure the listeners do too. Because a lot of us are doing more social media. We're doing the lives or we have to talk for a living. And like my husband's is a teacher. So I totally get that. I'm always getting on him like, drink your teas. I should have listened to myself, Vivi, more and stuff like that. But I do want to go back real quick on those crystals. Yeah. As a fellow crystal girl.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, was that like a rose quartz and an obsidian? What else do you have there? Do you mind sharing?
Ooh, okay, hang on. So the chakra one, I think it's like a clear quartz, then an amethyst, then it might be an obsidian. Like it's like a dark navy, and then an green aventurine, tiger's eye, rose quartz, and then the red, I'm not sure. I can't remember what it is.
Carnelian, most likely.
I don't think it's not a carnelian. It's not like it's not see-through.
Okay.
Maybe I'll send you the link.
Yeah, okay.
But it's like a recent thing. I've dabbled in it a little bit, but I'm having a second wave of crystal obsession. Like I made a few purchases in the Black Friday sales, and I'm going to be like Oprah Winfrey at Christmas going, everybody gets a crystal, you get a crystal, here's a crystal. Everybody's getting crystals for Christmas because they're so pretty. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I have them. I have them. See?
Yeah. And I also, this is a lovely lapis lazuli that I got as well. So recently to speak my truth.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah.
And then I have my tiger's eye too. So I get it. I totally get it.
There you go. Pisces.
Yep. But also.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Book events. I have a question for you about book events as well.
Book events.
But I was almost at the last Rare in Melbourne. I was toying with getting crystal penises made as my giveaway on the table. I should have done it next time.
Yeah.
Come and see
I will
Sophia.
send you the link to a vendor that has them that are also legit because crystals nowadays are so popular. A lot of times a lot of people are doing they're buying fake ones, unfortunately, and they're doing the glass stuff. And it's such a shame. And you see them all the time on stores, whether it's a Target or, 5 and Below, or some of the other ones. And even with the best of intent, sometimes if you don't know what it feels like when it's a real crystal, you think it might be. And so I will send you a link to reputable vendors that sell penis crystals. And you can have a variety of different colors from aventurine. Yeah,
it'll be like, I love it. Do you guys have Lucky Dip?
Lucky Dip.
Have you heard of a Lucky Dip?
No.
So this might be an 80s, 90s Australia thing. But we used to have Lucky Dip where you basically put your hand in a box.
Okay.
And come out with a prize.
Okay.
But you don't know what it is.
Okay.
So, and it'd be wrapped. So it was, I can't remember why we had Lucky Dips. I think, you pay $1 and you get to do the Lucky Dip.
Yeah.
Kind of
it's
thing.
almost like a mystery box. Yeah. Which are so popular nowadays.
I kind of brought them back in for my kids' birthday parties. So we'll do pass the parcel. Do you do pass the parcel?
We do. That's
and instead of getting a prize within the parcel, they get to do a Lucky Dip.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So anyway, so I was thinking of doing a Lucky Dip at the events with different crystal penises.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was going to ask you with events because we met at the iconic Readers Take Denver in 2024. And that's when we met in person.
Yep.
And I was going to ask you, what is your favorite event to attend? Because you've been to a few, right?
I've been, yes, for several years.
And would you ever come to one in Australia?
I've never left the United States, and I'm dying to. I am dying to get out of the States. and the way that I pick events as to where I want to go is like, if it's in a state where I haven't been before, right? It's one of those where that's how with Reader State Dev, right? I had been before. So yeah, if the opportunity arose where I could go into Australia, hell yeah. Because then we also get to compare the animals that we have on top of hanging out, because Florida is also known as the Australia for the United States when it comes down to our spiders and our snakes and
crocodiles and
how Australia's like they have the killers and you're going, oh mighty kind of thing, and I'm going, but have you seen ours? But definitely it's one of those where it's on my bucket list to go abroad, whether it is with Rare or some of the other more events are popping up everywhere nowadays. I don't know how it is in Australia, but here in the United States, every Tom, Dick, and Harry seems to have an event now. Absolutely. And you have to be conscientious and weary about some of these because we've heard the horror stories, right? About events that go awry. And even with the best of intent, we just say temper. It's just one of those things. But yeah, I would definitely want to go over, and especially if you're going to be there. I mean, it's one thing to be like, yeah, I'll go to Australia. Like, well, wait, before I commit, Sophia's going to be there. Sophia's going to be there. Then
the difference between in 2 years, the first Rare that I attended in 23, Andy was there. Andy Arndt was there. She was sort of there as an author as well, so she wasn't sitting near me. And then I was just there on my own. It was like nobody knew who I was. Like nobody here really was like, I don't know. They were like, oh yeah, I listen to audiobooks. And I'm like, well, maybe you've listened to me or like some people that I know. And whereas this Rare, I had managed to wrangle a couple more people. So I had Dorji Swallow, who people might know, we worked together a bit, and as well as Anthony Davis, who I've worked with a bit. They came, and then we had Shiromi. So we had like a couple of people from like overseas as well. And it was really lovely. So we finally, it became more of a thing that people were actually coming to see the narrators and the audiobook people. So it's not quite the same as the States yet. But I'm certainly trying my hardest down here to get more narrator and audiobook representation at the events here. I think by the time we get to Rare again in a couple of years, things will have shifted a bit more. And I'm hoping it's hard to entice people over because it's
a long flight. It's expensive. It's a long flight. I think the funds is one thing, but I'm going, you want me to be on a plane for how long?
Yeah. Yeah. But I have to tell you, it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It's
absolutely
pretty good. It's pretty good here.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, if it was me, I would make it worth it. So I would stay for longer, do that holiday, go to the Great Barrier Reef, do the things that you wanted to do. If you need any travel tips or holiday ideas, please feel free to let me know. That's a call out to everyone. I live in such a beautiful part of Australia now. I lived in Sydney for a number of years, for like 14 years, but I grew up in the middle of nowhere, outback Australia. So I've had quite the journey. Lived in different areas around Australia, but I've now settled in the Shoalhaven. If you look up the Shoalhaven and the beaches, we've got wineries. There's mountains on one side and beaches on the other, and it's just divine. I pinch myself pretty much every day that I'm so lucky to have this life.
That's I've definitely, like I said, it's my plan, and I would totally have it where you guys would be stuck with me for at least 2 weeks, regardless of the events a one day, because I'm going to make sure that it's I'm going to
maybe I should run a tour. Maybe I should like go, okay, red. And then you're going to go on a 2-week tour with Sofia.
And then
around Australia.
Because that's my fear though. My thing is like, it's one thing when I go into like, driving to Savannah, Georgia, or even flying to Denver, is I can pretty much navigate myself and, stuff like that. But the idea of traveling abroad, and I get scared about going with someone that hasn't been there before to kind of give me that tour guide of like where the safe place is and what's worth it and things like that. So it's one of those where having an event where more than myself is going to be there. We're going to have the group, folks. We're going to go hang out with Sofia. She's going to take us all the places.
Absolutely.
Definitely worth it. People are getting more into it, especially with the narrators. It's even here in the States, it's still a thing where people are like, wait, they go to places? A lot of time, like, not all the events have the narrators, but because it's different for the narrators than it is for the authors. The authors get to sell. They have a product that they can sell. Yeah. I can't sell you, Sofia. I can't sell your voice at these events for you to make some of the money back. But we can help
sell the authors.
Yes, so absolutely. It's one of the things.
That's why, should narrators pay for tables? Like you sort of get into that as well, because really we're often investing money in it to give stuff away, like to give little crystal penises to people.
I've been telling the narrators to work with their authors and have them authors give them swag, so you guys don't have to spend any money on things.
So then that's what I've sort of like. I often have flyers or things from authors as well. But we are investing in things for the attendees without actually getting that necessarily back in our pockets. It helps us as far as building relationships with the authors and obviously the readers and our fan base, so that then they can buy the book. But like, we've already been paid. So it's sort of, most of the time, if I was like a royalty share narrator, maybe that'd be a little bit different. But I think that that's also something that if we want to entice more narrators and authors from overseas, it's hard because people also need to cover the costs of the event.
We'll get back to the show in just a moment, but first, a thank you to today's sponsor, Enchantress Creations. If you love a blend of magic, wellness, and bookish joy, you're going to fall in love with this shop. Enchantress Creations handcrafts herbal remedies, metaphysical tools, and intention-based products designed to support your mind, body, and spirit. They also create a gorgeous selection of book lover merchandise. Think candles, bookmarks, stickers, reading accessories, and custom swag for authors and narrators, perfect for events, giveaways, and fans. Explore the magic, wellness, and bookish delights at enchantresscreations.com. And now we're back to the show. There's a lot that takes, and that's why I haven't done it. The amount of time people tell, hey, Viv, when are you going to do a book conference that's focused on audiobooks? I'm like, yeah, because that's my only focus. But yeah, I get it. But I wanted to. I have plans. I have ideas. I know exactly what I would do and everything. But I don't have a sugar daddy to cover the costs. Because everything is up front. Those hotel blocks that people love to get, the organizer has to pay those in advance. The tables, the fees, the organizations, the curtains. People don't really understand what it takes to do one of these events. And that's where also people get in trouble because they think it's easy and the table fees will cover everything. I'm like, no, this is why I need a sugar daddy. You know?
Come on, TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. Then gotta get to work on and have my Cash App on my link.
Don't you get those messages on Instagram every now and then?
I've started to get some of those where for a little bit I'm going, oh look, I've made it a little bit because kind of thing. But at the same time, I'm going, the March Pisces in me sometimes wants to fuck around with them, be like, oh, thank you, and say, and here's a list of my bills, kind of thing. And stuff like that. I just see, but most of those are all shenanigans and spams. But then again, not to get into totally details, I know for a fact that there are people out there that are willing to do the whole sugar daddy role, where you can just say like, hey, thanks for the foods. I appreciate you. And that's it. Nothing's coming off. I need one of those.
I need a list.
Right. I'm like, I need a roster. I need that kind of roster. I already have my narrator roster up and set up and kind of thing. I need that kind of sugar. But yeah, it's definitely an expense that sometimes people, when the readers and the listeners get mad that you're not there or someone else is not there, or that they've had to back off and not be able to come because, you know, life happens.
Yeah.
It's definitely a conversation that some of us are like, listen, back off. First of all. Second of all, are you paying Sophia's flight? Are you paying for Sophia's? No,
like I would love to get over to the
Yeah.
States for another one. But I've done 2 trips in the last couple of years. So I went over for Denver, and then I went over again for the for APAC and the Audis for the first time this year. And I'm like, I just can't do it again next year.
Yeah.
Unless I'm, it's
Sugar daddy or sponsors.
Sugar daddy. Like that's me kind of investing back in my business.
Yeah.
But it's quite it's not something I can do every year.
Yeah, no. But even
I did it 2 years in a row, and now I'm like, okay, she's got to hold off for a bit. I've got to recover those funds.
And even if you take the financial aspect away too, there's the energy that takes away from it too, that you have to be on, and the stresses that happens to it, and also the booking schedule of when you get back, adding a little bit of buffer time, because most likely you will get sick after peopling, and then what does that look like for your recording schedule? And these are things that a lot of times
the jet lag.
Yeah.
The jet lag. I wasn't too bad. You know, I flew the first time I flew via LAX. Never doing that again. That was not a pleasant experience. Transferring it might have been better if I if I'd just gotten off and not had to transfer, maybe. But I was just like, they're just yelling at us and they're all giving us different directives, and then being angry when we're not following the right one that the other person told us to do. But last time I went via Auckland and then did the like big, long, in one go flight to New York, straight to New York. And it was the best. Like, even though it was a really long flight, it was just the times of the day were better. And you could there was enough time to basically kind of be awake and watch some movies, and then kind of pass out and sleep, and then kind of be awake again and eat. You know, there was sort of, I know it didn't knock me about as much as that Denver trip.
Yeah, it's definitely, it takes a lot out of you. And so that's why I always say, be nice to the folks all the time when they go to these events. And if something happens and they can't make it, be extra nice.
Well, that's the thing. We're not a disembodied voice.
Yeah.
You know, you want human narrators. You want human authors. We're only human, as if anybody out there knows Kath and Kim. They're one of their phrases is, "I'm only human." Anyway. You know, we have lives, we have health. I know that a lot of times it's health issues. There might be financial challenges. We're mothers, we're parents. You know, we've got things going on just like you. And if anybody has to change their schedules, then I hope that people can have grace and understanding, because it's just life. These things kind of happen, and we're all just trying to do our best.
Yeah. I mean, it was great meeting you in person at that event. Some of the highlights. Oh,
yay. Thank you.
It was always, and also I remember like just watching you talk because of the accent.
You know, what's funny with the Australian accent is that I think that a lot of Australians, don't like it, right? We've sort of been taught to dislike our own accent, but it's a bit like it's a bit of a socio economic. Well, it's a bit of a class thing, I should say. So, you know, the better spoken, in inverted commas, better spoken Australians tend to be those that have either come from money or are more educated or have been to drama school, like myself. And so there's sort of, I think it's part of our British history where, you know, the classic My Fair Lady, you know, the wealthy people spoke very well. And then, you know, the people there's the Cockney, the real London. And so as, you know, the colony here in Australia, where like we're we already feel less than that sort of British class. So I think there's still that kind of hanging over. And, you know, with the likes of Crocodile Dundee and Steve Irwin and these characters that we're sort of known for, when the majority of us perhaps don't quite speak like that, we're sort of, we get that cringe factor when we hear that. And I think, yes, I speak quite well, again, in inverted commas. I have a much more rounded accent, let's say. I certainly didn't always speak like this. I was pretty broad when I was younger in the country, before I went to drama school. Even though I did, you know, I sang classical, so I was singing in Italian all the time. And I did probably still have a bit of a different kind of tone to my voice. Even though my parents were farmers, my dad still spoke quite well. Because back in the day, they used to have elocution lessons at school, you know, so they were taught to not speak like the broad Australian accent, and that's kind of gone. But anyway, I find it interesting that sometimes authors will get briefs and they'll be not too Australian, you know, because they don't want people to sound like Chopper Read or Crocodile Dundee, and it's like
that's not a noise.
We don't exactly right. It's like we don't actually. I've seen a bit of a funny video going around where I haven't looked at it properly, but a woman has made a couple of videos where she's like, why have you ever wondered why there's not more Australian paranormal romance books? And she's narrating it, and because, you know, like we say mate for friends, she's like, hey mate, yeah, you're my mate, yeah, like, and it making a joke of why we don't do Australian. And I was like, well, I've done a lot of those books, and it doesn't quite. I think it sounds better than that. But yeah, I love hearing that people like our accent, because I am kind of trying to do the Lord's work here and sort of try and get us Australians to enjoy our accent more, and try to get authors to understand that the Americans, for the most part, love our accent. So please don't shy away from it. And, you know, and then as well for Australian listeners, I think it's important for us to listen to our own voice and to listen to our own stories in our own voice. Yeah. Anyway,
representation matters, and it's one of those that we're constantly looking at how we can have the own voices and be able to cast appropriately as well, and a lot of times not fall into that caricature where, because the character is Irish or Scottish or British, and fall into that trap of Lucky Charms, you know, and
absolutely.
Going, no, dial it down. But then, like I've said stories where there was one review that was like, oh man, his Irish accent was not up to par. And they're talking about Gary Furlong, who's Irish.
Who's Irish? Yeah, I've had that for mine too.
Yeah.
I have had that, like, her Australian accent was terrible. I'm like, I'm Australian.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. A lot of Australian accents that get done by non-Australians do lean towards New Zealand. There's a couple of vowel sounds that they do that are definitely more New Zealand than Australian. And I think that a lot of Americans, so this is a rash generalization, but I don't think that you can always hear the difference. And obviously myself as an Australian, and I'm sure New Zealanders, you know, we're trained, we can hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the same way that like an Irish person listening will be like, what's going on with that accent? And the thing is, Gary's, you know, he's Irish, but like he's lived in the States for a while.
Yes.
So he's probably also softening his accent understandably in the same way that I probably soften my Australian accent, because we do still need to be understood. If somebody did an authentic Scottish accent,
oh my God, we wouldn't hear it.
Nobody's going to understand what the heck they're saying.
I keep telling people that.
So I've had people reach out. Like I had somebody recently reach out and go, we need to work on your German accent for this tiny little side character. And I was like, I do it softly. I don't want to be a caricature again, right? German is one of those ones that you can easily go into caricature land. And the thing with audiobooks is like, again, if we went fully authentic with accents, it would be like a caricature, or you wouldn't be able to understand what you were saying. So we do still need to soften the edges a little bit, unless it's written into the script to be more of something. So I will often have a broad Australian character. I'll often kind of, some of the older characters might have more of that, or the, you know, the dipshit ex-boyfriend is like, yeah, fucking go on, you know, one of those guys, right? So it's about kind of
balancing
it all out, and kind of, yeah, I think that we all do have to soften our accents. I think even an American accent needs to be softened.
Oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
For a long form listening experience.
Oh yeah, I mean, my favorite is when they're talking about accents, and I'm looking at people about like that, not Irish enough or not British enough. Shane East got that one too, by the way.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't British. His British accent, you know, was atrocious. I'm like, he's from the UK, you know.
Yeah, he's British.
Yeah, he's British. But it's one of those when you have someone that's from Texas versus someone from Savannah, Georgia. Both are South, both are Southerners, you know, but the accent is very different. And even sometimes even in Florida, like people like, you have an accent. Like, yeah, I have an accent. Try figuring out what that looks like and sounds like. It's called Florida, also known as bilingual Miami. Yeah. And you still have to figure that out. And it's definitely an interesting conversation with authors when they write these characters that have the accents, and then they hear the auditions and they're going, oh, that's not enough. I'm going, honey, you don't want it to be more.
Yeah.
Subtle is enough. Because we always will have that one person critiquing it, but also I want to understand it. As much as the Highlanders are hot or whatever, I won't understand them when they start talking. You know, give them a pint, it gets even worse.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's kind of just the figuring out how accents work. You know, if like, especially when you go into hybrid accent land. And, you know, already, so I love narrating in an Italian accent, but I definitely don't go strong because, again, that would just be ridiculous. Like, I mean, because if you were actually Italian, you would be speaking Italian.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wouldn't be speaking English, right? So it's like, you know, T.L. Swan's Ferrara, for example, right? It's set in Italy. They would be speaking Italian.
Yes, they would be.
They wouldn't be speaking English. So, you know, we're already not in reality, right? That's the beauty of fiction, right? So, you know, I don't have to go like a full thick Italian accent, because that would just sound weird, because then you'd be like, well, why isn't she just speaking Italian? So you do sort of soften it up, give it like enough of an Italian flavor that you go, yeah, she's definitely Italian, but it's not going to grate on your ear. You're not going to be laughing at it going, why does she sound like Mario?
Yeah.
You know,
Luigi.
You know,
Mario.
Or save it for moments when she's particularly, you know, emotional or something, right? You know, but so it's all, accents are a fun thing to work out, and everybody has an opinion.
Yes,
But I'm right, of course, always right. No.
Just Sofia said.
But I also think it's like, it's okay to not be to not do an accent. Like I'm very much like, a lot of people go, yeah, I can do first point of view narration, like all of these accents, and I'm like, hell no. You know, I've got like a few that I'm really comfortable with, and I'm happy to put that forward. But I think it's okay to not, like, I've got heaps that I can do secondary characters. I'm like, pretty much whatever you want to throw at me, I can do. I've got an ear for it. I love doing it. But I think people often get themselves into trouble, like a narrator might get themselves into trouble because they either think or they say that they can do something that maybe they can't actually when it comes down to it. Because when you're doing first point of view narration, you have to be able to speak like a native. And even myself, doing British and American, which I'm super, super duper comfortable with, I still, it's different when you're learning an accent for a play or for a show, because you're learning your lines. You've got time to rehearse those pronunciations in. When you're reading on the fly, you get up to words, we all say the same word differently. It's all English, but it's all slightly different. So I'm constantly, hang on a second, which one's this? Simultaneously, simultaneous, like whatever it is. So you know, I still will catch myself missing a rhotic R or whatever it is because you're doing it on the fly. So you really do need to, there's a difference between when you're talking first point of view narration, it needs to be as if you are a native, which is almost like another language, rather than the secondary character, which is something that I need a little bit more thought behind. You know, if you try and do a full book, like if I tried to do a full book in like a German accent, it would take me so long.
Yeah.
And it would probably still be shit. But yeah, it's sort of like, I think we kind of want to go out in the world and go, I can do everything.
Yeah.
And it's actually okay to go, you know what? I can't do everything, and that's okay. And other people can do that. So I'm going to let them do that.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day when I first got into professional music theatre and we're in like a rehearsal room and everybody wanted to be the soprano, the high soprano line that like got to hit the top C. And like earlier on, you know, at drama school, I was kind of part of that, like, yeah, I can hit a top C. So you've sort of, I wanted to be that person. And then I got out into the world and I was like, you know what? You can have the top C. You can have the top C. I'm happy to be an alto because you know what? That means I can still have a wine after the show.
Priorities, folks.
Right?
Priorities.
But you know, it's like you know, there were enough people that wanted that and they wanted it more than me. So I'm like, fine, go for it. Like you can do it.
Shine somewhere else. Yeah.
I can shine somewhere else. It's like, I'm not going to, because it wasn't, okay, I'll lean into that that example a little bit more. For me, a top C, yes, I can get, but it was something that I had to work a bit harder for, right? So it meant that I had to, like, make sure I was definitely warming up, like, really, really well. It was something that wasn't as comfortable for me. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to force that anymore. If that's not really where my natural voice wants to sit, I'll let the other people that obviously want it more than me, they can take it, you know? But yeah, I think we live in this world where we're expected to do everything, or we feel like we should say that we can do everything. And I think but then we're missing out on then focusing what we're really good at and being the best at that.
Absolutely. It's definitely, and where you shine and where you're able to, you know, spark better. There's one, and I see it too, because even with the different accents in the States, like I said, between like Texas and Georgia, or, you know, North Carolina and Boston and the rest of the Massachusetts area, you know, it's all these little quirky things. And you're going, when I'm listening to a book and they're supposed to be Italian and then they say sorry, I'm going, Canadian. And it's fine, and we're human, and it's the expectation of perfection. But I'm like, you know, we don't have to be a SME. I think about part of the live that I was doing today about, you know, sharing information and knowing where, you know, you can tell and be honest and say, I have no fucking clue what this is, but I know someone that can find out for you, or I know someone that can do it, and sharing the wealth and not hoarding things or gatekeeping. And so it's definitely one of those where I advocate a lot for that. I'm like, listen, if you can do it, great. If you want to use this as an excuse to learn a new accent, can you do it in 6 months? You know? And what does that look like? And sometimes you need that pressure. I'm like, I have to do a book, so I'm going to learn. Some people do that better, but also like, you don't have to. It's okay. Something else will come up where there is no accent required, or it's one that you're very comfortable with. And then that way the reviews are always going to have something, but at least you can say, well, you know, if they're going to get on Gary for not being Irish enough, or Shane East for not sounding British enough, that's saying something. But yeah, it's always also a fun thing. So yeah, it's definitely, but yeah, I mean, basically the US, we tend to be suckers for accents just because we are always general American with no accents. And so we're going like, keep talking, Sofia, just say anything. And so yeah, we feel that way. I get it too, especially with someone that's bilingual. And sometimes you're going, oh, the accent, and where certain words come out, you're like, oh yeah, okay, that's what that is. And where you're from, and can be telling. But yeah, it's been fun. But listen, when you're not working, we're gonna get a little bit more
Yeah.
personal here on some of these
Okay.
questions. When you're not working, what do you do for fun?
I enjoy where I live. So I'm an ocean girl. So I grew up very far from the ocean. So I grew up like on the Murray River, which is the river that runs between Victoria and New South Wales, for a bit of geography. The northwest corner, top corner of Victoria. And so I kind of grew up a bit in the river, but it's not the ocean. It's not the ocean. And here's a bit of my Italian maternal lineage were oyster farmers in Sicily. Right, so they came over to Australia. They started oyster farming in the mid-coast of New South Wales. And then my maternal great-grandmother, for some reason, moved. I mean, I wouldn't exist if she didn't do this, but, you know.
Yeah.
She moved from the coast to, like, this dust bowl of a town in and started farming there. And then, you know, eventually I came along. So when I stood at that coast where she had been born, my great-great-grandmother, so my Italian line came over, well, like my maternal line came over quite early to Australia. I stood on that coast and just went, why? Why would you do that? So I love just going out and having a float in the ocean. I love the Australian bush. So where I live, there's a lot of places where just the bush meets the beautiful, the whitest sand in the world, to the turquoise water, like ridiculous. And it's just really nice. I mean, I can hear the birdies out my window now. It's actually a rainy day today. So I need to get out in nature. So that's kind of where I find a lot of joy and a lot of pleasure. I also have 2 boys.
Oh, okay.
They're wild. My eldest in particular we joke that he's like Steve Irwin. So he catches, and he went to the beach a few weeks ago and just caught a carpet python. There was one in the bushes, and he just got it and had it.
Hello there.
Around him, just hanging out. I'm like, who is this kid? It's mine.
Yeah.
But he's like absolutely, like both my boys, they love nature. They love getting out in it. So snorkeling and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. But also, I think you said you were a Pisces too, right?
Yeah.
So water is always something that we're gravitating towards, especially the ocean.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's just nothing quite like even in the cooler months, just diving into the ocean and just having that feeling of refresh.
Yeah. Nope, I get it.
Yeah.
I have the Atlantic 45 minutes in one direction, and I have the Gulf of Mexico in another 45 minutes in one direction.
Right.
I just kind of wish I would actually take more advantage of it, but tourists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
hurricanes and all that other fun stuff, but sharks.
Yeah.
Which I hear you guys have a whole lot of. So here you are going. Sophia says that she goes to the beach all the time, honey. What do you mean there's sharks?
Look, there are some spots where there are more. Where I live, there's actually a really big bay. It's called Jervis Bay. And that's where the whitest sand in the world is. And so that's pretty protected and pretty safe. I mean, you have to have your wits about you.
Oh,
but I'm more worried about things like the blue-ringed octopus and stuff that are in the rock pools and, or potentially not. I've never seen one,
Yeah.
Because they don't want to kill you. It's not like they're walking around or swimming around going, where's a human I can kill?
Yeah. It's not like these dark romances where they're stalking you and they're,
Exactly. There's all the like, so the shark stuff is like,
Yeah.
at the moment, there's been some big schools of fish that are hanging
Mhm.
around. And so that attracts sharks.
Yeah.
So don't go. Like,
there.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
we're brought up here to understand nature. Like, I went out to had to take the dog out for, you know, her toilet before bed last night. Massive huntsman on the wall, right? You know,
Mhm.
massive huntsman spider. But it's like, it's not going to hurt me.
Yeah. Just keep
It
walking
can't
in.
kill me. It's like, it's just doing its thing, and it's going to catch the mosquitoes and things that I don't like. So we're kind of brought up to understand the environment that we're in, and therefore you're not afraid of it. Again, my oldest is doing ocean school, so he's learning free diving and learning about the
Nice.
ocean. So they go snorkeling and they go down and explore things. Is that a little dog? Yeah.
Sorry. It's one of my little puppies here that is getting in the way, and he was heading over to where he has a knack for stepping on the extension cord or the cord where
right.
things get
Yeah.
turned off. And I'm going, oh no, I'm speaking to Sofia. Please don't step on that.
Please
So,
don't do that.
yes, no. But yeah, this is one of the 4.
Okay.
Wee. Sorry, Caramel. He's going, what are you doing?
But yeah, so pleasure. I mean, it's hard as you know, we were talking before we started recording, we were talking about being mums and business owners, and it is very hard to make time. It's something that I'm getting a little bit better at now that my boys are a bit older. I do like yin yoga. If you've never done yin yoga with a really good teacher, it's beautiful. I have a beautiful teacher. And particularly with how busy the world is and how busy our business is, it's a really great kind of stress release, because it's all about holding poses and breathing through them and releasing like the meridian lines. It ties in a lot with Chinese medicine,
Mm-hmm.
the meridian lines of the, you know, gallbladder meridian and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so it's really I find that really really helpful.
Okay.
But yeah,
Nice.
little things.
It's those little things, and I think that every year, especially now that we're in December, everyone's starting to think about their 2026 goals and their things that they want to do and work on themselves. And I'm going, yeah, how about we make those realistic ones where, you know, I don't look at my phone for the next 30 minutes. You know, I don't jump on people when they're sending me text messages because there's a fire. I'm like, it's not a fire, guys. It's not even a flint. Fuck, calm down, you know, and stuff like that, especially from a business perspective. So yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, Florida is kind of like that too, a little bit in the wild, where we're taught in kindergarten how to evade alligators and crocodiles because we have them both. You know, they have like whole like zigzag walking and stuff. So just leave them alone. We actually have someone on social media. It's like the Florida guy, where he's like, "What happened here? Flip phone activated," and the craziest things. You know, because it's Florida. But yeah, when people to ask us, I'm going, it's fine. So we have also the big spiders. Just leave them alone. They don't do anything. You just leave them alone, you know? And then we get cold and we have falling iguanas. Because of the cold weather, they just stay and they fall. I'm going from the trees. I'm going, yeah, we don't have snow. We have falling iguanas in Florida.
My gosh.
For the winter.
My son would love that.
Yeah, see? So we had to figure out a way to get you here in Florida around that time for a book event, so we can expense the, you know, do a business expense from that perspective, and we'll figure it out. Yeah. What is a song that when it plays, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in the car, whether you're at a store, but when that song comes up, that you're singing along to it?
Like pretty much all of the songs. I'm that weirdo in the supermarket that like sings along to this. Like they always play the best songs in the supermarket, and like my boys don't even flinch anymore.
Yeah,
when Mum's like dancing around. And the thing is, I think when they're there, I feel like a sense of safety that it's okay that I do it.
Yeah,
but then I do it when they're not there as well. I go, but like I've been getting back into like the 90s bangers.
Nice.
Remember the 90s?
Yes, I do. Yep.
And then like the 2000s, like that was sort of my kind of peak. But yeah, like I'm a singer. When my sons like go get at me for not being able to remember like some fact about dinosaurs or something, I'd be like, I've got like all the song lyrics in my brain. That's the space for the dinosaurs. It's like I can sing you pretty much any song.
Yes.
From the
in multiple
90s and
languages too,
2000s.
in your case. Yeah.
But so it's very hard for me to pick one. One that's in my head right now because I was working on it with a student yesterday is the Kelly Rowland, David Guetta, When Love Takes Over. Because I was like singing it out loud in the car to it the other day. And then she's got an audition coming up for Anne Juliet, and I thought, oh, that'd be a great one for that.
Nice. Okay.
You know Anne Juliet, the musical?
I think so.
It's got a lot of pop hits, like, so it's like a jukebox musical.
Oh, nice. Okay. Those are always fun.
But yeah.
Okay.
Anastasia, I'm Out of Love.
Okay.
And there's big, like, I don't know, there's heaps. My boys love the Scatman. I played them the Scatman for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and they're obsessed.
Nice.
And so it's so fun, like me and my two boys in the car, like going ba-da-ba-da-ba-dee, ba-ba-ba-da-ba. Like, they sing it at the top of their lungs, and it's so cute.
Aw, that's adorable. Yeah. It's interesting. Like your playlist must be an array of different things in different eras.
Oh,
like,
yeah, because I love Ella Fitzgerald. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's quite eclectic. The Bee Gees.
Mine's too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the Mamas and the
Bit of
Papas,
everything.
and then I'll go into like Vikings or Celtic music, and then it goes back into the big bangs, and then Elvis, and then I'll have Metallica. It's all over
sometimes
the
you just
place.
need a good scream.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's the thing with music is that it's so linked to our emotions. So we go like you know what it's like. You go, what am I feeling like today? What do I feel like I need? And sometimes you'll put on something because your soul's a bit like you're feeling a bit melancholy and you just kind of want to sit in that space. And it gives the thing about music is that then it allows you to express something. Oh, can you hear that thunder?
I heard that. I was going, ooh.
Guess
and
who's
it's
not doing any recording today?
Sorry. Here I am. We're like an hour and a half in. I'm like, I feel
are
bad.
we
I'm
an
like,
hour and a half?
She won't bet record.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Ooh, that's a lot. Okay, I'll stop talking about music.
No, you're good. You're good. Hey, listen, the idea is to get to know you better and have people discover. And what better way to figure out that, oh my God, not only do I love them as a narrator, but we have this in common. So they'll go get more books and also humanize you guys. You're just like you said, not a disembodied kind of thing. And I think that helps to have these dialogues. But yeah, I heard that. I'm going, and it's not here. Usually it's raining here. So
yeah,
well,
we've had crazy heat waves. So we had like a couple of days last weekend we had extreme fire danger. It's been so dry. So this is the first rain we've had for ages. So I'm like, bring it on.
Bring
we
it.
need it.
Can't complain about it.
Before coming into the summer season, because this area was hit really hard with the I don't know if you remember, we had like the Black Christmas, they called it, I think. So 2019 going into 20, we had a really bad bushfire season. And the image, you might have seen the image of a woman picking up a koala with her shirt on the side of the road. That was on the highway not too far from here. So it was before we moved here. And the old owners said that, they were here with the hoses in their backyard, because I was in Sydney at that stage and we had like the embers, the ash falling down in Sydney 2-hour drive away. And they were here with the hoses, just in case any sparks sort of fell. So, it's, I'm like, yeah, bring on the rain. Please soak everything as much as you can. Because we've had a very unseasonably warm October, November. Like we had so many 30-degree days Celsius in October. Like I've been swimming at the beach heaps and already, and even the water, because usually the water's still quite cold at this time of the year.
Yeah, normally warm.
So I'm like, bring it on. Maybe not the thunder. I can't recall with the thunder, but
Yeah, it's one of those days when if it's gonna get that bad, you just want to get a blanket and a comfy couch and just read or be left alone and stuff, not record and bust out with like who did what, why are we still mad at him and why are we forgiving him in books and things like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm actually like my boys are about to be on school holidays next week.
Oh,
So Wednesday's their last day of school, and then we've got our summer holidays.
okay.
So I'm like, I need as many recording hours as I can get.
And here I'm going, so we're going to talk about two truths and a lie.
No, I'm here for this. This is part of the don't worry.
It's a warm up. You're warming up when you're recording.
Exactly.
But I do give homework, and this next part is very fascinating to me. So the two truths and a lie, where you tell us 3 things about yourself, and we have to figure out which one's the lie.
2 truths and a lie.
And a lie.
Okay. It's like the thing is, I've already probably purged a lot of personal information because I'm a Pisces with a Gemini moon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And she loves a chat. Okay. 2 truths and a lie.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Sydney. My husband is a surfer. I was in the original cast of Mary Poppins in Australia.
Okay. Born in Sydney, husband's a surfer, and was in the original cast of Mary Poppins in Australia. All in the details. So which one of these is the lie? You were talking about living in Sydney, not that you were born there, so that's not it. So yeah, were you born in Sydney?
No.
See, so that's the lie.
It was pretty easy.
Well, here's the thing. When it comes down to the surfer husband, I'm like, well, that's very, stereotypical. Not the Australian man would be a surfer, kind of thing. Yeah. And most likely it could be very possible that you were in the original because you've been doing it since you were a wee babe, wee little lads, kind of thing. Okay, well, that's good. Not bad for them fly.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. The other thing too that I like to have a dialogue in is the guilty pleasure. So as a first time guest, you don't know this aspect of it, but part of the Patreon is we play a game of Would You Rather, and one of the questions is, would you rather tell everyone your guilty pleasures or never partake in them ever again? I want to say that 99.9% of y'all have always been like, oh yeah, I'll tell everybody what my guilty pleasures, and that way they can continue to indulge in them. And then I'm like, okay, fine. Well, the next time you come on the show, we're going to talk about them. And we just never did. And there's no follow through from that perspective. And so I'm going, you know what? We're going to start talking about these guilty pleasures in the way that people tend to think that we're talking about things that happen in a particular color room. Usually when it comes to guilty pleasures, when the reality is it means that we had cereal for dinner or we had ice cream for dinner or, yeah. So what are some of your guilty pleasures?
I'm so boring. It's all food. It's all food. I love food. Yeah. And there's something in particular that is like a relatively recent discovery. A bakery here. I'm gluten intolerant, so I should not be eating these cookies. But these are like, I kind of figure that there's probably so much sugar in it, it like cancels it out. It's like girl math, but for baking. They do incredible cookies that are like, they're quite big. You definitely can't have one in one go, otherwise you're like sugar coma. And they're like that, the gooey on the inside and still got a bit of like crunch on the outside,
okay.
Like quite thick. And they do just a lovely choc chip, a Biscoff. Do you know Biscoff? The like Dutch, the Dutch kind of spice one. Biscuit.
Okay.
So that they've got like that, and then a Nutella.
Nice.
And then what they call Dubai chocolate.
Oh.
Which on the inside has like a pistachio kind of cream thing.
Yeah.
Filling. And it's like delicious. But anything like, I'm definitely, I love the flavors. So I hate boring food. Right? I don't mind it being rich. I mean, I love a good, solid, hearty, home-cooked meal. But, yeah. But on that, I was also thinking about a guilty pleasure being, or something that like I desire, like
Mm-hmm.
a kink even,
Mm-hmm.
you might say, is being cooked for. Because it never happens.
Oh no.
I'm like, I married somebody who doesn't cook, and I'm like, and so I'm like, and I think of that Aretha. I don't know if anybody remembers. There's a clip out there. You can easily Google it. I Googled it again to verify exactly what it was. Aretha Franklin got interviewed, and the interviewer says, "What are the biggest challenges for you? You know, like
Mm-hmm.
career wise?" And she's like, the biggest challenges trying to figure out what to cook for dinner every night after night, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Aretha is my soul angel. Like,
Yeah.
I'm absolutely like, I love food, but freaking hate that like having to figure out dinner every single night is just like torture. So when a book has like characters who cook,
Mm-hmm.
and like you just go, don't worry about it. I'm going to do everything. We're going to do the dishes, and I'm going to make you this amazing meal. And I'm like, yes. Sign
You
me
want to
up.
highlight that part and say, hey,
Yeah.
honey, you read it, memorize it, learn it. We're doing it later. You're cooking.
Yeah, basically. So
Well,
yeah,
see, now I
that's
know how to get you to come over for
that's
an
my kink.
event. So
Oh, yeah.
one of my things that I've been wanting to do.
Take care of all the meals for me.
Well, besides that, but one of the things I've been wanting to do is have it be where when we're at an event where I have a suite that has a kitchen, and that way I can do cooking for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
As a whole, having like a nice little dinner party and just be like home cooked and things like that.
See, I love cooking
yeah.
for a dinner party.
Yeah.
Like give me some friends over, and
Mhm.
I love doing a roast. Like I do love
Yeah.
cooking. But it's the
day-to-day thing,
the day-to-day stuff, and like his kids don't eat most of that stuff. Like you just gotta.
And I have my degree in, well, one of my degrees is in culinary arts, so I love cooking and I love cooking for people. But I fucking hate meal planning for myself. I can meal plan for you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Anytime, and I can figure it out for you and have it be where you're happy and you're ecstatic about it. But ask me what I want, and I'm going, can I just have some saltine crackers, butter, and cheese? And it's just, I'll just eat that, and I'm happy, But if they're going, you went to culinary school, I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. So I hear you. Yeah. So now I know that if we were doing an event here, I'm like, listen, Sophia, I got the suite.
Yeah. Okay.
Come over.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. Done.
Perfect.
Sign me up.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we can continue talking forever. But why don't we wrap things up and tell us what you're currently working on that you can share and what's coming out next for you?
Well, currently I'm not doing a romance, although it is really cute. It's about like a middle-aged couple who are traveling around in a caravan, and she's it's called The Traveling Celebrant Mysteries, and I can talk about it because it finally came up. The first book came up for pre-order on Audible, and it so it's like this Australian couple traveling through country Victoria, and she's a wedding celebrant and funeral celebrant, and mysteries occur, and so she's a bit of a like part-time sleuth. So she ends up helping catch the killers. So it's like it's a cute, cozy kind of series, and but the relationship between the husband and wife, they're in their 60s, sort of late 60s. It's a relationship that isn't often represented. And, they were high school sweethearts, so it's very sweet, and like, it's quite refreshing, in all the stuff that we often do.
Yeah, no
and
stalking.
Again, like I said, no stalking, no. So that is it's nice to kind of, as I said, like that. I feel like that that type of relationship isn't often represented, so it's nice to bring that to light. What I've got, so I do a lot of Sam Hall's books. So Sam Hall is a great Australian reverse harem writer, and what I love about her is, one of the things I love about her is that she doesn't shy away from the Australianisms, in fact, she leans into them more. And I think then people really appreciate her for them, because then she ends up with like a list of definitions of all the different sort of phrases and terminologies, and people get on her pages and are like, what does this mean? I thought she was talking about like, what's a ute? You know, like a ute is a truck, like what you guys call a truck. For example. Anyway, so it's actually like, it's education. So if you want to learn about Australian culture, get into Sam Hall. And she does a lot of like the shifter. I've been doing her contemporary romance series, but I've got a shifter romance coming up soon that I was prepping. So we're back in, this one's got like a bear and a tiger and a wolf together in a pack. No, oh my, exactly. That joke is in the book. But but it's so, again, the whole like being cooked for, like I find like in those kinds of in her books a lot, like the shifter romance. The guys all come in and
have you eaten?
Cook and like like, and I'm like, you know, as a busy mom, I'm like, yes, please take care of me. So I've got that coming up. I recently did one that I can't talk about, but I got onto my stories, and it's so good. The tension between the two, it's like an Australian actress in LA meets, or like she starts hanging out with a football team, American football team, and fake dates a player. So she's already sort of like met people, and then they decide to fake date because to sort of fix her career a little bit, to help her kind of land a role. But the chemistry between the two is just like nuts, because she's just open and constantly just like tells him straight up how hot she thinks he is. She's got like, she's one of those kind of no filter people. She's just is who she is, and she doesn't give a crap basically. And he finds that really refreshing. Yeah. And he's known as this like sweet guy, like the golden boy of the team. He's got a bit of like southern charm, but he's got a filthy mouth. And my God, like, but like hilarious. I was in fits of laughter, but then also like, oh, like this is hot. Like, so one of your like homework questions was the fuck, marry, kill. Yeah. And I was like, he's like, I could marry or fuck him, like both. Like that would like that's he was sort of like ideal. So sweet, like protective, take care of, like filthy mouth. Not like, so that, like, when I can talk about that one, I'll be super excited. But I'm blessed to have a lot of things going on, and absolutely grateful for the work and the romance community, and that everybody seems to have embraced Sofia and her Australianness. It's so, I'm pretty happy going into 2026 with a few more exciting projects coming up.
Can't wait.
I've got my first one with Blue Nose, which is like a romantic-y kind of like future. Like, so I think it's like, so there's been the, what do you call it when dystopian future kind of type situation, which I just I don't know if you saw. So Born for Marble got released recently, Nikki Harris with Shane, so that's like another dystopian future. That one's very more kind of dramatic, serious, whereas this one coming up I think is going to be a little bit like a bit more funny. The main character has a potty mouth. So I always love being able to, as an Australian, I love getting my chance to swear in a book. So yeah.
I'll have to look into those. Yeah, that's great. I love it. It's always, the list is always endless. Like, what are you going to be today when you're recording, right? It's like, okay, fairy, waitress, business owner, potty mouth. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to do it all. Yeah. And fun. But it's always, it's like, it's getting the variety and getting the balance, So any, too much of anything is not a good thing. It's like, if I ate that Dubai chocolate cookie every day, it would lose its,
its flair. Pleasure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for hanging out with me today. It's been a pleasure. It's been so much fun chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. You too.
Thank you. And if you're not following her on social media, don't worry. I will provide you with all the links in the show notes over at the episodes for we're chatting in the website of Viviana, Enchantress of Books. So thank you again. And until next time, happy listening.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Sponsored by Enchantress Creation, custom book swag that hits different. Bookmarks, teas, candles, stickers, and bath salts made for authors and voice narrators.
Thank you to all of our Audiobook Lovin Podcast Patreon. The Audiobook Lovin Podcast has special Patreon access levels. Join today to receive benefits including early access to episodes, shoutouts, special exclusive content, and much more. Support the podcast by becoming a Patreon at www.patreon.com/audiobookloving. We thank you for your support.
Thank you for joining us on the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, hosted by Viviana, Enchantress of Books. For links and more information discussed in today's episode, previous podcasts, or the Audiobook Lovin series, please visit our website, vivianaenchantressofbooks.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a positive review wherever you listen to our podcast. Until next time, happy listening.